Yo guys, it's Exolf and welcome to another video. So as you can probably tell, this is going to be an unboxing and review of the Havit KB389L mechanical gaming keyboard plus mouse. And one of the reasons I chose this bundle in particular is because it's only £37, and that is extremely cheap for a mechanical keyboard, and it also comes with a fairly decent mouse. And to get a good quality mechanical keyboard these days is still around 50 quid. A few years ago it used to be even £70 for a full RGB mechanical keyboard. So straight away out of the package you get the keyboard and a little cardboard box with the mouse inside. From the get-go you can sort of tell that the keyboard has a standard look inspired by Corsair and Razer products. And the mouse comes in a little slip in a cardboard box. So the things you're buying when purchasing this is obviously the mouse, the keyboard. It also comes with a wrist rest and a manual for the keyboard RGB settings, how to set it up, like the wrist rest and etc. And you also get a keycap puller provided. So the keyboard itself is very mechanical. And the keycaps used are double shot injection keycaps. They only use a little cross section in the middle to attach to each switch. The keyboard itself has a sort of unique font where you don't see that often. It's very classic. A few of the letters it has like a sort of slit just to make it slightly more gamery. The switches inside are actually Jixion blue switches. I personally haven't heard of that brand before, but it is a Cherry MX clone, very similar to the real thing. It does provide an added click to each keystroke. Another added bonus about this keyboard is that the keys are slightly tilted towards the middle, so say they're at the back they obviously tilt forward and at the front they tilt towards the middle, just to add an extra ergonomic feel to the keyboard. On the back of the keyboard we have two stands to prop up the keyboard. They do not have rubber tips at the bottom, but nonetheless they do still help the keyboard prop up, and they give an extra angle just to type on. So now onto the lighting of the keyboard. There are actually 14 already preset modes that you can choose from by simply clicking the function key and then F9 on the keyboard to cycle through them. There are also some other functions you can do to make the lighting however you want it. So if you click the function key and page up or down, that is for the brightness of the keyboard. There are actually 5 different brightness settings including off that you can go through. The second function, if you click function then left or right, this is sort of like a movement phase. So for example, say you choose the rainbow effect, you can click the left and right arrow to choose the way that the rainbow goes. Another function is the up and down arrows. This is for the different light modes that you can do for the colours. So again, say you go on the rainbow effect, you can go up and down with the function keys and choose the colours that you want to be sort of rainbowified. So the 14 different lighting modes you can choose from are, the automatic preset one is a rainbow horizontal just preset. The second one is sort of a light which fades through each row. The second is a quick breathing effect through all the colours. Then we go on to a slower, more controlled approach to the breathing effect. Then we have a still rainbow. Then is the first interactive setting. You click any letter and the lights come out of that letter across the entire keyboard. The next one is a single key light up this time. Depending on what you press, it can show up as a different colour. It works with any key. So for this one, whichever row you click, it lights up that entire row when you press each key. Next is a sort of like ripple effect. Next, this is sort of like a random falling just for the colours. Then you move on to everyone's favourite, the rainbow. And like I said, you can control it with left and right. Next is a sort of spiral rainbow, all the colours from in the middle just spiral around it. Then we go on to a more like every colour light up. This is a more like stepped up version of the random falling, it's just much more colours. And then when you go press it again, you go back to the first setting. So like I said, the keyboard comes with a wrist rest which is detachable. There are simple slits at the bottom where it attaches just underneath the stands at the top. To get the keyboard in, it's just a simple matter of squeezing the 2 pins into the little slits. They stay there it's very secure, even though it's just a simple process. They stay in there very securely. Okay, and for the general brightness of the keyboard, you will find that the keyboard is actually decently bright. You'll have no trouble seeing it if it's dark. Even if it's bright, you can still clearly see the LEDs. One thing I will say though is that you may see that it isn't actually as bright as other keyboards, just because simply the LED is underneath the sort of keycaps instead of just on the surface. It's underneath the keyboard attached to like the motherboard, instead of actually being just underneath the keycap. There are also dedicated media keys on the F row throughout the entire F1 to F12. These are things like volume, play, pause, emails, and like calculator, for example. These are accessed with the FN and clicking the selected button. Also, you will find here that there are 2 more lighting settings. This is for speed. It's the plus and minus keys. They control the speed of the LEDs. So now we're going to move to the mouse, and straight away, again, like the keyboard, this cable is also braided. This obviously means it'll last just much longer, it's higher build quality, adding an extra premium feel to the mouse. It is told that there are 7 programmable buttons you can obviously change. I've only really noticed the scroll wheel and the 2 side buttons. Obviously just change them. There is a added software that you can use. I haven't experimented too much with it, so I'm not going to go into that detail, but you don't necessarily need to actually have the software, because there are 7 lighting modes that are already available to you. One thing I'd tell you before this though is that don't choose your lighting mode, choose your DPI first, because each DPI has slightly different LED modes, so if you get your perfect one, it might not be on the right DPI for you. And these DPI modes are preset. You can't change them, unfortunately, in the software. You can only change the preset, each light mode to the preset DPIs. A really surprising thing about the mouse, due to the price, is that it glides extremely well. It's so just easy to use. It's almost like there actually isn't a mouse mat there, but the mouse mat is going to add a protection to the bottom of the mouse. And before you use it, make sure you do actually remember to take off the plastic strips on each of the 4 like bumpers, I suppose, at the bottom. I've seen a few people actually forget to do that and they say the mouse is horrible. But anyway, the RGB on the actual mouse is very good. It's extremely bright, possibly brighter than the actual keyboard itself. Obviously, you got the winged Havit logo on display for everybody to see. Also, the side buttons are very well placed. I have decently small hands, and I can still easily reach both 2 buttons on the side. Another thing about the sides is that they're actually textured. It's sort of like a maze pattern, and on the left hand side it is actually rubber, and on the right it's just plastic. So I think that is it. As you would think, it was really easy to set up. All it is just USB connections, and also the keyboard remembers your previous lighting mode. When you do turn it on for the first time, it'll do like a startup. It's like a unique color thing it'll do, and it'll go to your previous color wave, or if it's your first time buying it, it'll go to the first one. Same thing with the mouse. When you first turn it on, it'll go to a unique color thing, and then just go to the first setting and first DPI. But yeah, that is my review of the Havit and mouse combo. I have been using it as recording this for about 3 days now, and I'm still happy with it. Nothing seems to be breaking. Hope it stays that way. I've used it for gaming and typing. It's very well rounded. It's a very good keyboard to get. I do recommend it. All the links will be in the description if you want to buy. One thing I want to say just before we end, I want to say that this isn't the type of video that I would normally make. So it's either going to be, this is a learning experience for me. If it was trash, then I'm sorry. I tried to do my best to explain the keyboard and just how I feel about it, and I still do recommend you should get it. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time.